Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, 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 and welcome, boys and girls, to the 260th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by ATEBIT.net and those sexy legends over at Audio Technica. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today, the Marlowe to my Chabwick, the podcast ride or die that you can find on them socials at Miss Ali Hart. Miss Ali Hart, how the bloody hell are you?
Doing good on this Friday afternoon. I had to think. The week's been blurry.
You are obviously reporting to us from the past, and I am coming to you from the future. So it's always fun hearing about your Friday, and I'm telling you about my Saturday at the same time.
It is interesting because everything's still hustling and bustling over here, and for the most part, for most people, respect to retail workers, but it's Saturday morning, so most people are resting over there in Australia. Yeah,
it's just come past, just about to tick over 20 to 10 on Saturday morning here. It's nice and overcast in Melbourne. Predicted rain for the next several days. So nice. A lot of inside living, I think, even though we've Freedom Day was yesterday, as they call it, was a big thing. People were getting on the beers every which way but loose. But we've got some freedoms. We're allowed to get out and about again. No more restrictions as far as a 10K bubble. We can go get haircuts. We can go have a meal at a pub. Life is living. Yeah, the essentials, Miss Hart. We can't go shopping. Oh. You can't go into a retail store. But some retail shops have found a loophole where they can sell to you, out the front of their store. So you could stand at their window and they can bring the goods out and go, "Excuse me, Miss Hart, would you like to buy these shoes?" And then you could try them on in the laneway and decide.
Well, that was definitely one thing that was kind of companies figured out pretty quickly over here was how to do in-store pickup. But I guess you had to have access to online shopping.
That's true. I did a few in-store pickups or car park pickups the last few weeks with my new Melbourne living. But, Freedom Day was yesterday. The night rolling into Freedom Day, some random youths decided to let off a ton of firecrackers after midnight at the Oval 2 doors down from my house. So I was in bed just about to get to sleep. Then it was and I immediately oh my God, someone just got shot. What's happening? I didn't even think that it was fireworks. Oh. Then I peeked my head out the window and I just saw the little green and gold and pink sort of phosphorus that you could see in the sky. I'm oh, that's nice. And then went back to sleep. And then about another 20 minutes later, there was another wave of them that went off there. And then another wave. So this went for about an hour worth of fireworks. And it was a pain in my ass, Miss Hart.
Yeah, I used to have that problem when I lived in Sydney. We used to have these kids that would always let off fireworks whenever they wanted to. It wasn't necessarily for an event or occasion. Chances of the occasion was they got their hands on fireworks. Yeah. So, but it was always bad because it really bothered my dog. So.
Yeah, fireworks aren't a good time for pets, and people with fireworks need to take that into consideration. But as you said, it's tough going to get fireworks these days. I remember, for a while you could only buy fireworks in territories, not states, so you could buy them in the Northern Territory and Canberra. Mm-hmm. And then you could only buy fireworks over, Queen's Birthday long weekend. So, and then I don't think you could buy them at all for a while. They're really cracking down on these. I don't know why. You can buy a whole host of other horrible noise and damage makers, but not fireworks. But, Australian government doing Australian government things, I guess.
Yep, the weird and wacky world.
Some other weird and wacky worlds that we've been embarking on, Miss Hart, the last week. It's been a very varied slate as far as games we've tackled. I guess we could jump in and talk about our little collab last Saturday after we recorded the pod. We managed to synchronise schedules and we had a full squad in Back for Blood. Yourself, Pedro, myself, Benny, all running around, all trying to kill all the Ridden and all the other various beasties that come at you in this game. And boy, howdy, was that fun.
I had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. Like, first of all, it was just great, like, playing with you guys again, because it's been, like, it's always hard to kind of line up game time, but, like, playing with, like, you and Benny, and me and Benny haven't played a game in what feels like forever. So that was amazing, but then just it being this, like, stupid, chaotic game of, like, just zombie hordes and us, like, you know, scrounging around. Oh, me and Benny going at our job, which was just taking money and copperware.
Yeah. Just constant updates running around. Then I see in the UI, it's like, you know, Miss Ellie Hart's taken 50 of this. Then Benny's found 100 of these coins. Like, you guys were just out there just being thrifty and finding every penny under the couch cushion you could find.
Funding the cause, we were. But yeah, it was lots and lots of fun. Like, this, like, I'm pleasantly surprised on how wrong I've been proven that this game, because it wasn't on my radar at all. Like, I didn't care for it. I thought I had played every kind of zombie horde game kind of thing, so I was like, like, whatever. But this one's been genuinely fun. The incorporation of, like, the card sets, like, that you can add, like, to, like, you know, buff or improve your gameplay has just been a really fun addition. And yeah, like, I like playing with you guys was great, and I've also been playing with randoms, and it hasn't been a problem. It's been, like, fun both ways.
Yeah, the connection with sort of the cross-platform was super smooth. Like, we had 3 of us on Xbox and then 1 on PC when us 4 were rolling, and there was no issues with the game. There was no issues with party chat. You know, the combat was fine. Like, there was a couple of tiny little moments of lag, but it wasn't noticeable constantly.
No.
Like, there was maybe a few little rubber bandings going on just because we were bouncing maybe between AU servers or US, and obviously half of us are here and half of us are there. So that was a bit of a challenge. But outside of that, it was a ton of fun. Like, it was just madness. So many creatures coming at us. And these acts, like, there's only 3 acts of this game for sort of the, in air quotes, current campaign. But that first act, like, I haven't progressed any further since we played, but we did that whole first act, and it was long and very in-depth and varied and fun, and it was a good experience. Like, you're getting a lot of meat on this bone. Yeah,
actually, that's a really good point. It was really varied in the sense that, like, each, like, stage of that act or whatever was something different. It wasn't just, I'll kill all the zombies. It was like, no, like, there's this element, and then you got to do this, and then there's, like, bombing a bridge, there's transporting like supplies to a location, and then, you know, defeating waves and such. Like, that's actually pretty accurate. So that's probably why it doesn't feel so monotonous. Like, each thing has, like, a different narrative or game style to it to, you know, change it up a bit.
Yeah, that chapter near the back end of the first arc where you hold up in that old bar and you've got to keep repairing the jukebox, which is playing the tunes. That was absolutely insane.
Like, good insane, but also, like, I full disclosure, I was the first to die on that stage. I died in the kitchen.
Looking for coins.
So I was dead pretty quick. So it was great just, like, switching between all the camera views and watching everyone else just absolutely get destroyed. But having that jukebox just playing some absolute banger tune, like, in the background, like, it reminds me of Shaun of the Dead, also
yes.
Listen to the Comedy Rewind podcast, who recently did that. It reminds me of in Shaun of the Dead when they're kind of huddled up in the bar and
Don't Stop Me Now is playing by Queen.
And they're just, like, attacking off, like, hordes of zombies. So it's just so chaotic. It's so fun. I'm sad that I died pretty quickly, but the whole experience is really good. So
yeah, it's a challenging game. Like, it's not just, like, it is mindless violence, yes, but, like, you do need to have a bit of strategy as far as how you go about attacking or taking on certain enemies. You've always got to be moving because there is just swarms of these things coming from everywhere, and there's ones that you know, grab you and drag you away. There's other ones that sort of freeze you in place with, like, this, I guess, saliva-based netting that it spits
like
at
webbing,
you.
yeah.
There's another bit like there's big sort of like running in and suicide bombing creatures and like there's a whole variety of things that are going to kill you in a whole variety of ways. So you're constantly on the aggressiveness and pushing forward, and then you're sort of being a bit passive and sort of standing back and getting a little bit of breathing room. But it's so fun. It's so fun, and I can't wait to try and finish these other 2 chapters just to see how the story plays out, because I was genuinely getting interested in the story, and the cutscenes introducing updates and new characters and things, they're really well done. Like, it's a good looking game from the cinematic side.
Yeah, like, actually, you're right. The cinematic side isn't too bad. I gotta be honest, I actually have no idea what's happening with the story. Didn't really pay attention with it, don't really care. I like just going in there and swinging my bat and just, getting amongst the chaos. So I'm sure there's probably a great story in there, but I mean, I'm not paying attention, so that's on me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like, I think we're all just queuing up for the violence and the chaos, really. Like, and the fact that we've got eight characters and they've all got unique abilities and sort of utilities that work in and synergize with the rest of the team. So being mindful of having, a Doc or a Holly or whoever it is that has a certain buff that's going to really benefit how you play and vice versa, it really helps make your way through this game, because we were just playing on like the standard difficulty and it was very tough. And there's 2 tiers above that you can go to, which would be absolutely bananas, because there's friendly fire being turned off in the higher difficulty, and we'd all be dying from our own bullets.
We know, because there's a lot of in-game like voice interactions between the characters that kind of just happens amongst them. So and you hear so many times, and we especially heard it on our gameplay of like, hey, stop shooting me. Well, don't get in the way. Like,
just playing it off. It's so light and tone, isn't it? It's like, what do you shoot me? And it's like, you walked in front of my bullets. But yeah, you wouldn't be doing that in the higher difficulties, for sure, because you'd be dropping so often. Yeah,
I'd be dead instantly, running in full force with my baseball bat, getting in everyone's way. So, yeah.
But super fun, highly recommended. Like, we officially approve this game as something worth your time. And if you're using a Game Pass as a service, why haven't you downloaded this game? And whether you're rolling with some friends, because it is cross-platform, so you can play with PlayStation, PC, and Xbox users, so you can play on all ecosystems together with this game. Just get in there and smash some heads and have some laughs, because it is absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
bananas.
Good one.
Speaking, maybe not bananas. I guess is there banana trees in Animal Crossing?
No, not that I'm.
One day, because there's another new little character that was introduced, which was Tiang Sheng, the monkey villager, who's coming in that 2.0 update. But Miss Hart, you've been playing a bit of Animal Crossing again, I see.
Yeah, I went back, and I'm starting to first of all, it's Halloween, so you got to collect your candies for the Halloween night. So you can hand them out and get gifts back and whatever. But I'm trying to get figure out what I'm doing for the new content in November 5th, I believe. So I'm kind of just figuring out my shit and figuring out my island, whether if I want to, restart. There's a bunch of other new recipes that I've apparently missed out on, so I'm collecting those as well. It was great coming back to all my villages and just them having words with me about my disappearance. But also with my own, vulgarity that I've added to the game. It's made for some quite wonderful interactions with my villages and my disappearance. So it's been fun.
I think I'm going to boot it up this week just to see if people have left or not. I just want to see
no one left
what kind of state of disrepair my island's looking like at the moment. I don't think I could nuke it and start again. I saw a few people on my socials that I follow sort of screenshotting and uploading the data of them deleting their island after 300, 400 plus hours to start fresh. I'm like, oh my God, that's a commitment right there. And I don't know if I'm eager enough to do that, but I want to know who's there and what's happening. So maybe I'll just sort of do a drive-by, pop in, have a cuppa, and then get out of there again for another 12 months.
Yeah, they literally specifically tell you how long it's been.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
A very long time.
Straight up just telling me, like, it's been 10 months. I'm like,
Sorry. So, yeah, I'll give that a look and report back in the coming weeks. But something else that I didn't expect myself to ever be playing, but here I am off the back of my sort of anime addiction that I've been churning through with all that high fantasy. I have decided to continue that fantasy and jump into Final Fantasy 14 Online.
Oh, it begins.
Last weekend. Got the download going, got the game running, and I have been slashing and jumping and stabbing my way through this game. I've got my only character as a Lancer, which is becoming a Dragoon, which is sort of one of the like polearm wielding DPS characters.
Yeah.
She is at level 35 now.
Already?
So I've been grinding my way through very hard this week. Played a little bit with NATO, a little bit with Benny, and even played a good chunk one night this week. I can't remember exactly what day it was. Salim the Dream Abraham jumped on and we ran through a dungeon together. So, because the bug has definitely bit him. So he was sort of showing me the ropes and giving me some hot tips. And I've finished a good portion of the first campaign prior to the DLC. So, working my way through Final Fantasy Online. I am now a MMO boy again, and it's been fun. It's been fun to just play something a little bit different.
I was going to say, do you reckon you're going to pay for the extra, to continue on? But I know you're going to do it regardless.
Yeah, I had because you can all play it for free, but you need at least someone to actually buy the base game so you can sort of party up and do that stuff. So I paid the money just to buy the base game. It was like $30 or whatever. It's nothing crazy. So I paid that so that way, we can all synergize and play and roam around together if people decide to jump on this journey with me. But it's been such a different experience than everything else I've been playing lately, and it's been fun. It's been fun just mindlessly running around, killing this or that, and actually semi-caring about some of the story that's happening at the moment. There's a assortment of characters and races and classes that are just piquing my interest. But it's been fun. I've been enjoying myself.
Do you know if it's cross-save?
You can port your character from PC to PlayStation.
Yeah, you can?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Something.
Yeah, but you can play with because Dream and Benny and NATO, they're all playing on PC, and I was playing on PlayStation 5, so you can all play together.
Okay.
It's just the part where it'll get janky with that is how are you going to communicate? What's going to be your party chat? And having it on Discord.
Yeah. There's
no native Discord integration on the PlayStation just yet, so I just had my phone out with Discord running on speakerphone beside me.
I've had to do that, yeah.
It was fine.
I've had to do it a few times.
But yeah, it's been fun. I've been enjoying myself just distracting gameplay with a bit of Final Fantasy and just grinding up. The leveling has been pretty smooth, and just working out the rotations as this Lancer character. And the cool thing is you can sort of just whatever weapon you've equipped will change to that class. So you can have multiple classes on the one character. With something like WoW, where if you're a paladin, that character's a paladin, then you'd have to create a new character to play a monk or whatever it is. Where this, you can jump in and out and then just level them independently. So you can have them all in the one tune. You equip a sword and a shield, you become a paladin or a warrior. You equip a staff, you can become a certain mage and everything like that. So it's cool that you can have all that at your fingertips and just change the role that you want to play as you go.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been fun. Scratching an itch I didn't know I had. And it's been tied me over. We've got we're also just about to start working through House of Ashes, the next entry in the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive Games. So thanks to Bandai Namco for tossing us a couple of keys on that. We'll have some more extensive reporting next week, maybe to tie into our spooky episode as far as our thoughts and experiences with that game. So, I haven't dove into it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it because the reviews are saying that this might be the best Supermassive game since Until Dawn.
That's
on
what
some
I've
of the
heard
reviews.
too, yeah. So I'm excited, but I'm also scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, yay, oh no.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try and play it over the weekend during the day
daylight,
with the lights
on. I'm not too keen to be playing that one in the dark. Like, ugh.
Yeah, so we'll try and play, because you can play it singularly as your own experience, but then you can do the sort of online play where you can control characters individually together. So we'll try and get those both experiences and give you a full deep dive on that in the next week or so as well. But yeah, cheers to Bandai for that. And very excited to play a bit of House of Ashes.
Yeah, very excited to wet myself.
I'm less excited for that, but you know what? I'll be cheering you. No, I won't be cheering you on to wet yourself. That's
Go for it.
That's weird, but you do you. Whatever you got to do.
Go. Pee.
Yeah, and once you're done peeing, obviously you head on over to ko-fi.com/weare8bit, and if you want to support us monetarily, you can do so over there from the low price starting from $1 AUD per month. You can get yourself an 8-bit Founders Coin for $20 AUD shipped anywhere on planet Earth. And also, once you're done doing that, or if you can't support us monetarily, or you don't want to, which is fine, just be sure to rate, review, subscribe us as well as all the other podcasts you listen to on the regular, because those ratings and reviews help keep the emotional lights on in our hearts, takes no time, costs no money, and means an awful lot. So be sure to do that and just to pay it forward. And speaking of paying things forward, we are just starting to prepare for our end of year giveaway. More details will be announced in November, but we're going to be running it from November through to the back end of December, where we've got our final run of THG episodes planned out. But we're going to be trying to give away the biggest pack that we've done I guess, in 8-bit's existence. So we're going to try and just correlate as much awesome swagger, try and get, 4 figures worth of value here for one potential big winner, and then also have like a minor prize for a runner-up as well. So we're just working on that. It's going to tie into a bit of a quick sort of Q&A where we're going to be doing like correlating a lot of the end of year data, favorite games, favorite movies, so on and so forth. So it's going to be really easy for you guys and girls to enter. And you could win yourself an absolute bucket load of swag from us as well as all our fantastic partners. So more info on that to come. But that'll be over at 8bit.net/win. Not up there right now, but in the next week or so, that'll go live at the start of November, run through into December, and you can win yourself an absolute bucket load of awesome peripherals and games and merchandise and everything else in between. So get excited for that. But Miss Hart, what do you think? Shall we jump into some news?
Let's do it.
This week's news headlines.
All right, first little banger. Multiple shots fired here coming from the delay cannon. CD Projekt Red has pushed the Xbox Series X/S and PlayStation 5 versions of both The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077 to next year. So the next-gen update is going to be coming out potentially a year and a half after these games were made available on those next-gen consoles. So, we always say take your time, get it done right, which is fine, and I'm going to try and stick to that mantra. But my God, this has been a journey with Cyberpunk especially.
Cyberpunk is kind of like weird. It's just like, wow, this game really was not ready at all. Like it really, really, really wasn't ready. And I'm like a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't think I'll ever play this game. Oh, well, whatever. But for me, like I always try to put forward that I loved Cyberpunk. I actually really enjoyed my experience with the game. The only frustration from this delay is just like I've actually really kind of wanted to play it again. I've had little little moments of just like, oh, I really just want to just drive around and listen to music, or maybe start up a new character. But the new gen version was meant to be my excuse to play it again, like do another playthrough. So I'm just kind of like, I just want to scratch that itch again. Obviously, yes, I know I could just load it up and just do it anyway, but I mean,
yeah, you want that full experience.
Yeah.
And I'm the same. Like I really enjoyed it. Like we did a pretty glowing spoiler cast on this game. Jesus, nearly a year ago now.
Yeah.
And even though it was a bit buggy and had some warts, we all collectively really enjoyed our time with the game and had high hopes for this full version, HD next-gen version with all these bug fixes to give us a more complete experience. And we were all sort of saying, yeah, we'll all go back and give it a go and see how it plays now that it's smooth and bug-free. And we're still waiting. Still waiting for that smooth, bug-free next-gen version. But at least they didn't say it's abandoned. You know, I'm hoping it's not going to come to 2022 and they're like, you know what, it's gotten too hard. That's not happening anymore. All the other DLC we had planned, which has been sort of swept under the rug too, has not been discussed at all. Like, that's worrying. But that's game development in the 2020s, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. Years.
It has been. And a couple more delays. So Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp has also been delayed because the game, in quotes, needs a little more time for fine-tuning. It was originally scheduled for December 3rd on the Nintendo Switch. The delay pushes the game to an unspecified date in spring of 2022. So we're looking somewhere between March and June, I guess.
Yeah, I guess around then.
Yeah, so we're looking potentially up to a 6-month delay there for Advance Wars 1+2. And we also got a slight delay with Elden Ring. It's going to be releasing on February 25th of 2022. It was pushed back a month. I think it was slated for the 22nd of January or something like that.
Around then.
Initially. But yeah, the depth and strategic freedom of the game has exceeded initial expectations, apparently. They thank you for your trust and patience, and they also say, we look forward to seeing you experience the game in the closed network test this coming November. So if you Google Elden Ring closed network test, you can request your interest to try and get in as, I guess, almost like a beta tester for this game to play a little bit of a slice of Elden Ring in November before its February release. But yeah, a couple of big and notable delays there. Elden Ring, having that sort of stress test in November is interesting, but also seeing it now move to February, which is just full of game releases. February is a minefield of a month as far as new titles.
It is rough. Like, there's so many titles coming out in February. It's an absolute cluster. Like Destiny, the new content for Destiny is coming out in February. They've already said that they don't care. Like, they're totally okay with coming out because obviously us Destiny nerds are pretty dedicated. So that's fine. But like, I just think it's like, why February? Why is everyone kind of just bustling up? Like, my brain is saying at this stage it has to be like a money thing. It has to be like an investment shareholder kind of like budgeting kind of thing. That's why they're all trying to push back, but only push back to like February.
Like, I guess depending on where you are in the globe, your sort of fiscal calendars are very different. Like, I know like some parts of Asia and then Europe run like weirdly like October to September, and then like parts of the US and things like that, and other regions of Europe run from, I think it's like February to January, and obviously we've got July to June, and then there's just the calendar fiscal periods that some people work off as well. So I think a lot of it's to do with that shareholder, maybe where they want that injection at the back end of Q1 to sort of show that things are on the right track. But yeah, February is starting to become a bit of a pillar as far as game releases. Like, yeah, you mentioned the next big Destiny expansion. We've also got Horizon Forbidden West out that month. We've got the new Saints Row out that month. We've got a couple of titles for the Switch, which were pretty reputable, which escape me right now. Apologies, Nintendo fans. And now I've got Elden Ring. I think there was close to about 10 or so big titles all dropping in February of 2022, which is going to be a busy month for gamers.
Yeah, but luckily enough, gamers really like to brag about how quickly they finish a game. So maybe they'll just all go out there and rush most of it. I forgot about Horizon, actually. I'm wondering if that'll get an extra push, because we haven't seen too... Oh, you know what? We do have a PlayStation event coming up, so maybe we'll see more. Yeah, which is... Excuse me. Goddamn. It's very exciting. So exciting, my stomach wanted to let it be known as well. The next little bit of news here. Xbox Game Studio is working with Finnish studio Mainframe on a cloud-native MMO, according to reports. So, so Mainframe had already been announced, but claims have been corroborated by VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb. He's breaking so much news these days, Mr. Grubb. Yeah.
He claims the adventure MMO is being published by Xbox Game Studios and developed under the working title PAX Day. According to Grubb, developer Mainframe is looking into gameplay mechanics that could only work in a game that primarily exists on a remote server such as this. It's very interesting thought processes there. So we're looking at, I guess, with this remote server, maybe procedurally generated areas or something like that, where maybe the MMO runs can be different based off experience and load in and region. But it's interesting because Mainframe's been kicking around the traps for a while, but seeing Xbox jumping in to be the publisher here shows their, I guess, continued interest in that cloud space. Obviously, with xCloud and cloud gaming now starting to sort of pop off all around the globe to much positive reception. It's smart to see them sort of teaming up with devs like this to bring other games to that platform.
Yeah, and it's also good for Mainframe to actually get that support from Xbox Game Studios and push, because if they are developing something that might be considered maybe a bit more new or a bit more risky, like newer technology or something of that variation, having Xbox Game Studios support behind it obviously tells them that they're doing something right. So the assumption is Mainframe was originally working on something, and then Xbox Game Studio maybe caught wind of it and then jumped on board. I don't know if this is...
Let's partner up.
Yeah. I don't know if this is yet confirmed. It's like it says according to reports. So right now, I think it's still sitting at hearsay.
Bit of smoke and mirrors still.
Yeah, so, but, I mean, like we kind of said, Jeff Grubb's been pretty right lately.
Yeah, he's got his fingers in some pies, that's for sure. And he's breaking a lot of news. He's become one of those global sort of kings of rumor milling and finding the facts before it's official. So we'll see what happens with Mainframe, and if this partnership with Xbox Game Studios does occur, and what that will mean for cloud gaming and also Xbox as a whole. So interesting. Interesting. On the topic of Xbox and Microsoft and what have you, they have also announced this week that 2TB and 512 gig models of Seagate's storage expansion cards for the Xbox Series X/S will be joining the existing 1TB model before the end of the year. This was detailed on Xbox Wire. The Seagate 512 storage expansion card is available for pre-order right now via Walmart in the United States for $139.99 USD, and that's going to be released in the middle of November. I don't think they've confirmed the date and price for the 2TB card as of today, but from what I heard, the 2TB SSD storage expansion card is more expensive than an Xbox Series S. So if you wanted to put 2 terabytes of storage into your S, it's pretty much like buying 2 Xbox Series S's, because this thing is not a cheap. I bought the 1 terabyte one for my Series X, and even that I think cost me $300.
That's ridiculous, actually. Just buy another console, just build up on consoles. I think in this household we probably should consider maybe buying one of these storage expansions because of Game Pass as well. Like, we're constantly installing more and more games, and we've got some pretty big games on our Xbox. So we're running out of space. We're deleting, making room, and all that sort of stuff. Kind of doing that kind of back and forth. So, but these prices are ridiculous. Like, I understand pricing, but when you kind of do that comparison, like you said, where you are buying essentially another console, you kind of just wonder. Yeah,
it's almost like I'll buy 2 Xbox One Series S's, and that's my multiplayer machine, and that's my single player machine or something, and just having them both set up. Yeah,
that's the biggest one, right? Call of Duty,
Call of Duty's like 120 gig or something like that, which is bananas. But it's good to have, especially with these ones, because you're going to get that fast boot. You're going to get those really quick load times. Like, you can still have games saved on a traditional portable hard drive, but you're going to not experience those SSD speeds. So that's going to be the differences. So you can still just go USB in the back of this thing as opposed to using that custom storage expansion slot, but you'll save yourself a ton of money, but the load times aren't going to be there and stuff. So it's a trade-off.
Oh, okay.
There's a trade-off, but you want that whip quick in and out of games and stuff. You want that fast start and everything. So it's cool, but save that pocket money up, especially if you want that 2 terabyte storage expansion card, because boy howdy, it is not cheap.
No, it's not. It's rough.
Yes. Something else that It didn't look cheap. The trailer certainly looked big, but we got the Uncharted movie trailer released this week on the back of, I think it was getting leaked. So then Sony had to sort of pivot and go, shit, let's get this thing out, get it in front of people ASAP. So we saw the first trailer for the Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg in the last couple of days, and it includes set pieces that look strikingly like moments from throughout the game series on which it's based. The trailer shows a young Nathan Drake as a bartender meeting Mark Wahlberg's Sully before the two embark on an adventure. We also get mention of Nathan's brother Sam, who players met in Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Antonio Banderas' character is the antagonist, a rival treasure hunter with seemingly a lot more resources. There are also multiple scenes that look to be based on the games, from a marooned pirate ship to the sequence from Uncharted 3, in which Drake is dragged behind a cargo plane. There are also musical cues and individual relics that players will remember from the games as well. The movie arrives on February 18th, so even more busy times for February. Where we've got Uncharted the movie. It's going to be arriving, February 18th, and will be released into theaters only rather than taking a day and date streaming approach. So we were talking about this sort of offline before we started recording this morning, and I think the trailer looked fine, but I agree with you. Like, you sort of mentioned something that really hit, and it's hard to not see Tom Holland as anyone but Peter Parker at the moment. Like, It feels like this is Peter Parker goes treasure hunting. And, no disrespect to Nathan Drake or Peter Parker, but it's hard to break that sort of thought process away from this trailer.
Yeah, it's like, and it's never nice to kind of say, especially to someone's like acting credibility of like, well, I can't remove you from a very specific role. And I don't think that's necessarily on him. It seems like they've kind of like maybe reached into the kind of like dorky, quirky, adventurous nature of like his Spider-Man role, and still had it kind of adapted into this like Uncharted movie. Like, I don't really see much difference. Like, we see a lot of things in this trailer where he's, a bit like broody, a bit mysterious, a bit action, but then also a bit wacky. And obviously, like the character of Nathan Drake is, He is like, he's charismatic, and he's a smart ass, but I don't necessarily I didn't see that kind of, quirkiness. I saw Peter Parker, I saw Spider-Man quirkiness. So, and I hate doing that. I hate like kind of doing that association, but that's what I was getting.
I think it's so tough too, because he's so fresh-faced, Tom Holland. Like, he still looks like a high schooler, and that's no disrespect. Like, I love this kid, and he's a great actor, very talented individual, but he doesn't have, like, because they've got scenes from pretty much the first sort of 3 movies that they're alluding to here, which is probably a span over several years, where Nathan Drake has been a bit of an accomplished treasure hunter by then, where he's still this young, fresh-faced dude that looks like he's just finished school. It's sort of this weird juxtaposition for me, where he's playing this role that maybe they're going to be time jumping several years in the future, where he's potentially meant to be late 20s, early 30s, where he's always going to look like he's 16 or 17, which is kind of tough. And, Mark Wahlberg as Sully, yeah, fair enough. But like, as we were talking about before this as well, it's really hard to disconnect from that fan trailer that was made with Nathan Fillion, which was just phenomenally done. And I think we're all just sort of so locked on that still, as that's the Uncharted movie right there. Just throw some money at these guys and make this movie, and we're never going to get it. Yeah,
and definitely spoiled by that. Like, it was a fan-made short. Like, it went for, I think we kind of guesstimated, or from what we remembered, was like 10 minutes long. But we saw like Nathan Fillion playing the role that everyone says that he's perfect for. He played it perfectly. A lot of people obviously kind of battle back by saying, well, unfortunately Nathan Fillion is older now. He's a much older dude, so he can't play the role, to which I understand. So you would have to go much further into the future of maybe Nathan Drake's story. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe that doesn't work. But the problem is that I've seen it now. Like, I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I enjoyed it like immensely. It just was great. And so it's going to be really hard to present me with something else and say, still just as good. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been spoilt by that teaser or that
Little short,
that Nathan Fillion jaunt, because a lot of us are going to have a hard time disconnecting, thinking that's what it could be, that's what it should be, and this is what we got. Like, it looks like this movie's going to be fun. It looks like there's going to be a lot of big action set pieces, and I think if it's a passable popcorn movie, I think the masses will be happy, and I feel that's what we're probably going to get. Like, I like Tom Holland with his sort of dorky charisma that he has. Like, he's a bit of a dude, and he's a great little actor. So I feel he could probably carry this role. But I just got to try and start breaking away from what we've seen and what we want to what we're going to get.
And to be honest, we also could be possibly tarnished by the production hell that this movie's been through. Like, it's it's been through a lot of shit. Like,
was it 6 directors? I think they went through.
I think that's right. Yeah, it was a really ridiculous number, and it's been in the works for a long time. It's been a lot of uncertainty. So maybe that kind of thing has also planted maybe a slight seed of negativity. But
that's true.
You know what? Like. I see a lot of fans that enjoyed it. They really liked the trailer. They're excited, and that's good for them. I'm happy for them. As long as there's some people out there that are genuinely excited for this, then it doesn't really matter what I think.
It does a little bit.
It does. We know how I feel. Like, I already have my Uncharted movie called A National Treasure 1 and 2, waiting for the third one. So
is there a third one getting made?
It's been rumored. It's been rumored. It was once upon a time sitting on Nicolas Cage's IMDb for a while there. So talk about production hell. But Nicolas Cage is doing 1,000,001 other things right now, so he's okay. But yeah,
so many bad movies, and just like pure bad. Like, he plays some that are good bad that you can watch and go, you know what, this is fine. But God, I watched that Prisoners of Ghostland.
I've been hearing about that one.
Whoa, it was rough.
Okay.
It's just straight bad. Like, anyone that likes trash and is a Nicolas Cage fan, give it a look, but just do not get excited about this movie. It is so choppy and just all over the place, but it's just more bizarro Nicolas Cage hotness.
Love it. Wouldn't want him any other way.
But Pig is great. Watch Pig.
Yeah.
Really good movie. Something else that's good or bad depending on which side of the fence you align yourself with here. Dbrand is saying its latest PS5 faceplates will survive Sony's legal wrath. So this past week, accessory maker Dbrand made headlines when it stopped selling its PlayStation 5 in air quotes dark plates following a cease and desist letter from Sony. At the time, the company promised it would have more to say about the subject, and now it has. This past Monday evening, the company took to Reddit to announce a second version of the faceplates it says Sony won't have a legal case against. And the quote reads as follows: "By creating a brand new design, DarkPlates 2.0 successfully closes the loop on this dispute and neutralizes any future infringement claims from Sony," the company said. It also claims its plates will make your PS5 look considerably less ugly. You can be the judge of that last one. In addition to a new design, the panels feature cutouts for the PlayStation 5's 120mm intake fans. Citing data from Gamers Nexus, Dbrand claims its new plates will maximize your PS5's thermal performance without the need to run it naked. Ooh-ha. Sony's latest console doesn't have overheating issues. That's true of both the launch variant and the new revised model that comes with a smaller and lighter heatsink. That said, running components at lower temperatures generally extends their lifespan over pushing them to the limit. If you're worried about dust making its way into your console, each set of dark plates comes with a pair of mesh dust filters you can mount inside of the panels. The new panels are available to pre-order now for an introductory price of $59 for the set US. You can choose from 3 colors: matte black, retro gray, and classic white. Alongside the faceplates, Dbrand is selling light strips you can use to tint your PS5 side LEDs. They're available in 9 different colors, with a single one priced at $5.95. Dbrand will also release the panels in waves, with the first sold out set shipping in November, and then the second and third waves coming in December and January. Miss Hart, do you want to buy some Dbrand DarkPlate 2.0s? Do you want to spruce up your PlayStation 5?
I would love to make my PlayStation just have black like plates, because the white is just not good at all. It doesn't work for me.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's
really not.
It's a little gothany too. Black consoles. I've actually been really interested in this story because it's been interesting how this company kind of went about this whole procedure. Like that when they did the initial release of these plates, they literally wrote Sony sue us. So Sony did. But the speculation is that Sony's trying to get a grip on this like paneling, like people selling panels, customized panels, because Sony themselves will be selling like paneling for direct to users so they can change up the colors and stuff like that of their PlayStations. Yeah, this whole thing's been pretty interesting. It's like D Brands has been pretty cocky. So.
Yeah, it's very like gamer meme culture, isn't it? With the whole sue us and stick it up your ass, Sony, and like considerably less ugly. Like it is so, it's very no cap. The kids might say potentially.
Yes,
but
sheesh.
These Dark Plate 2.0. I don't think it looks that great, to be honest. It ends up looking like a little, like how you used to buy like the media centers, the little media hubs where you could have all your movies downloaded on there and your TV shows and your photos.
Yes.
It makes your PlayStation look like one of those or just a weird giant ass portable hard drive.
Look, not all of us could have a Horizon Zero Dawn PlayStation, okay, Brendan? All right?
You can. Just head on over to...
So, I can understand with someone like you looking at, a very plain colored, plate and being like, I also like the incorporation of like, and now we have fan access. Because apparently Sony's plate design it's patent pending. So they don't actually have the direct patent on it yet.
Interesting.
So, I guess that's why D Brands kind of like they've changed a few things to say, you can't sue us if you don't really own that patent. So, yeah, this has been a very interesting kind of like back and forth between, a brand that's kind of doing something on the side, which we are seeing with 3D printers now. We're seeing a lot of people kind of going out there and customizing a lot of stuff. So, it's going to be pretty interesting to see like how a big corporation or like, big corp, like whether it be Sony or Microsoft kind of saying like, hey, you can't create custom stuff for our consoles or our peripherals and then sell it. So
yeah, it's very much it's not gonna be the last time we see or hear things like this. Like there's so many, like as you said, Miss Hart, there's so many companies or little boutique offshoots where they are manufacturing their own modifications, because you can literally just clip out the sort of the side panels on your PlayStation 5. Like there's no proprietary lock or bolt you need to break. Like you literally just rip them out. Like there's just some little clips holding these things in. So you can adjust these on the fly and it doesn't void the warranty taking these off as well. So it's not implied, but you've got some flexibility there and some security knowing that you can customize your PlayStation 5, and if it does fall over a month later, you can still get this thing fixed out under warranty. Yeah. So it's inviting people to customize. and yeah, me in my ivory tower with my Horizon themed PlayStation is very much looking down on some of these lesser designs. But who knows, Miss Hart? I fired up my 3D printer for the first time this week, so maybe I'm going to start making plates to customize PlayStations. Then I will get sued by Sony. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm never going to be mean and say make it look less ugly. I'm just going to say make it look better.
Improved.
Yeah. Customized, personalized. Make that console your own. Something that I was not able to make my own this week, Miss Hart, is the Xbox Series X mini fridge, because these things sold out in minutes, and now scalpers are already selling them online for hundreds of dollars more. So Microsoft released the first wave of pre-orders this past week, which sold out in under 15 minutes, according to potential buyers on Twitter. The fridge, modeled after the Xbox Series X console, officially retailed for $99.99, but it's already going for far more than double that on eBay, with some up to $500, Miss Hart. Multiple listings have already sold out at their listed price or accepted the best offer. In the US, the fridges are on sale exclusively at Target, while it's available from Game in the UK and not available currently in Australia. Fucking hell, Microsoft. I'm so angry about this. Microsoft says it's planning to expand regional availability in 2022. I don't want to wait till after Christmas for a mini fridge, Miss Hart, but it looks like I might have to.
Yeah.
It's also important to note that Xbox called today the first wave of pre-orders, meaning there may be more chances to secure the fridge in the US and UK and hopefully Australia later on. So, Miss Hart, my prophesizing of mini fridges for $500 has come true because you can get them on eBay for about that. I haven't pulled the trigger on one yet, but I've gotten pretty close a couple of times.
I reckon if Microsoft knows that they're going to get money out of this, they might keep churning them out. Like, you know.
Why wouldn't you?
Why
wouldn't you just keep selling these?
It's, you know, it's just like another console, really. Yeah, like, I couldn't believe how quickly. And they didn't actually, as far as I'm aware, they never actually officially announced when the pre-orders were going live. And they did it for over here. I believe it was like 6:30 a.m. in the morning is when they became available. And within minutes they were gone. They were sold out. Like, I remember clicking the link and it just being like straight out, like just straight sold out. Like, I'm like, when did this get posted? Only so many minutes ago? This is crazy. So,
very crazy.
I'm curious to see, because they've also said obviously they've allocated physical stock for brick and mortar, so Target. But my husband seems to think that the people who work there will probably secure them. So
yeah, I'm filthy because I completely missed that these things went on sale on that day and then they were sold out in 2 seconds. And I've just done a quick jump on eBay to see if there's what's kicking around and just search Xbox Series X mini fridge. And there's one on here now for $851 Australian. Ooh. But then you've got to also add the $162 in postage. So it's $1,000.
Yeah. So even if you wanted to be dodgy and try to get it for from another country, still getting it shipped is a lot of money. So, on top of the additional costs that people are adding to these, not necessarily limited. Like they've said that they're gonna open pre-orders in December. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, first wave of pre-orders. So we're going to have further iterations and regional expansion in 2022. So maybe I'll be able to buy one locally here sometime in 2022. But I still want one now. God damn it! My FOMO is running rampant inside me on this fridge.
You and everyone else. There's a lot of people who are predominant figures in the Xbox, atmosphere scene, whatever, and they've missed out. So, and they're ropeable, really. So,
yeah, very frustrating. But you know what? People are gonna hustle.
Oh,
and they see the incentive to buy and then flip these things for immediate profit and. It's a dirtbag thing to do, that's for sure, but that's what people do. So, is what it is. And this is also something that happened this week.
Tweet of the week.
And this tweet is hot off the presses, officially dropping overnight. And this tweet comes via way of @Rockstar Games. And the tweet reads, Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition, coming November 11th. So coming in 3 weeks' time for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S/X, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Rockstar Games launcher. Pre-orders are live now. For us here in the AU, you're looking at over $100, give or take, for this trilogy of 3, 4, and San Andreas. Cool. There's a trailer that goes for about a minute showing the enhancements and improvements that you are getting from these early versions of the games to now. And Miss Hart, I don't want to be, an old fuddy here and be a negative Nancy, but I don't care.
Yeah. So for the trilogy, what was in the trilogy again?
So you get Grand Theft Auto 3, you get Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and you get San Andreas.
Oh, okay. Either way, one of the funniest comments, because in this trailer they did, in this tweet, they did the comparative of like, okay, this is what it looked like before, and this is what, our, remastering and polishing kind of looked like. And the funniest comment that I saw online was saying that it looks like The Sims, but with murder. And I can't unsee it now. I can't see the how the change in graphics and stuff kind of makes them look like Sims characters and anything. So yeah, I ain't in a rush to get on this really at all. If anything, I'd be curious to see how it plays on Nintendo Switch. I could kind of see myself just maybe just laying in bed and playing a bit of GTA.
Killing some prostitutes.
Yeah, just in
the comfort of wherever.
Bring a prostitute into my bed.
Giddy up.
So yeah, I don't know. not really hyped for this anyway. So but and that price point too is a bit rough. Do you think? Am I being stingy? Is that?
No, I don't think you are, because these are games that are many, 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 many years old now. I know that there's a development process in the back end to make these things definitive, I guess, if we're going to call them that. So time and money was certainly laid out in spades from Rockstar, but yeah, $100 odd bucks is a bit ho hum, if you ask me. But the interesting thing that they've sort of broken this trilogy away in a way where San Andreas, the definitive edition, is coming to Game Pass on November 11th, but not Vice City and GTA 3. But GTA 3, the definitive edition, will be coming to PlayStation Now on December the 7th.
What?
Yeah, make sense of this. So any PlayStation Now users, Grand Theft Auto 3, the definitive edition, will be out a little after a month of that initial release for PlayStation Now users. Obviously, that doesn't exist in Australia, so Aussie listeners, that's a bit of a pain in the ass. But on day one of release, you can play San Andreas, the definitive edition, on Xbox Game Pass. So that November 11th, you can play that as part of your Game Pass service, not 3 or Vice City, but you can play San Andreas. I know that probably was as clear as mud as far as explaining that. So you can buy the trilogy in one single purchase and get all 3 games. If you're an Xbox Game Pass user, you can get Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, released day 1 on November 11th to play.
Yeah.
Or if you're a PlayStation Now user, you can play Grand Theft Auto 3, the definitive edition, from December the 7th.
Yeah, all right. Now just make me not want to play more. Don't make me think, GTA. Come on. Of all games, don't make me try to think.
Yeah, it's a game you just want to mindlessly cruise around and get amongst it, don't you?
Yeah.
But graphically, some of the screenshots, some of the lighting enhancements, improvements, it looks good, but I had my experience and my fun with these games years and years and years ago, and I don't really have an inclination to go back. Many other people do, no doubt, because people are horny for this franchise forever.
That's true.
So it'll sell.
Yeah, it will. It 100% will. And I think there's probably, I'd safely say there's a good generation out there that maybe hasn't experienced at least one of them, that they may enjoy it. I'm still curious about the music. Do they hold that licensing with the radio stations and everything like that? Do they hold that forever?
There was a line I saw on social media this morning where a lot of the radio stations and music will return, but there will also be new additions as well. So I'm assuming they managed to hold some of the licensing and renew some of those, and then others they might have missed the boat on. So we'll get some familiar tunes and some familiar radio stations and segments, and then some new stuff as well.
As long as we get Fernando.
Fernando.
I loved Fernando.
But yeah, I know I probably sounded like a bit of a Debbie Downer explaining all that. But the definitive edition, it's confirmed. It's coming out in 3-ish weeks, and you're going to be able to play certain games out of that trilogy on certain platforms as part of your subscription services. So they haven't confirmed if maybe they might sneak one into next month's or maybe December's PS Plus, and you'll maybe get one of those games included in that bundle there. But this game is probably no doubt selling like hotcakes already as far as pre-orders go. And on the other pre-order discussion, They announced this past week that God of War is making its way to PC. And
Yes.
it is the most pre-ordered game on Steam already from what I saw doing the rounds. So I'm very excited for PC players to play that game and experience that masterpiece for the first time because it is such a special, special game.
Yeah. And I could see a lot of like PC players enjoying that experience. They obviously saw a lot of bullshit, as you do when that kind of stuff happens, of people losing their exclusivity. But
God.
you know, I digress. Like you know, more players equals more fan base, which equals more money, which means more titles. So
You said that perfectly. And yeah, all them haters out there, just shush. It doesn't make this game any less special because PC players are now going to get to experience what those legends at Santa Monica did several years ago now. And yeah, Kratos is the man. And we've got Ragnarok coming next year. But if you don't want to wait for Ragnarok or God of War to make its way to PC, these are things you can get into this coming week.
New releases and events.
So as Miss Ali Hart mentioned earlier in the podcast, we've got a State of Play happening on October the 27th, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific time. As far as podcasts, listen to THG 260, and we've also got a new episode of Putting in Work dropping this week. Movies and television, My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission is dropping this week, as well as Army of Thieves. So that's the prequel to the Zack Snyder Army of the Dead Netflix film that I kind of liked and Miss Hart kind of didn't like, and she's still probably angry at me about that rec.
Yeah.
But
so the one movie recommendation I took you on, you lost all
my
credibility.
reputation is shot. I've got no cred anymore. I got to try and build it up slowly but surely. Pig, Nicolas Cage. You'll be a fan of that one. As far as games coming out this week, Iron Harvest, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is probably the biggest one in this release cycle, unless you're a NASCAR fan, because NASCAR 21 Ignition is coming out. Also, Workshop Simulator, Super Robot Wars 30, Age of Empires 4, Backbone, Dusk, Fatal Frame, Maiden of Blackwater. I really want to go back and play that game again, just to get my, underpants stained a shade of brown. Riders Republic drops this week. Roki, Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars, and Mario Party Superstars drops this week. So we've got a pretty full slate of games across all platforms to keep people well occupied for at least a week.
Curious to see how well Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy does. That definitely, it definitely got hit with a lot of like conflicting opinions on whether people liked it or not, and obviously the style choices. People are happy because the music sounds amazing. So I'd be very curious to see how this one does.
Yeah, I'm very interested. Like we'll have some coverage of that because I'll be playing it in some fashion. Yeah, haven't been able to secure an early copy of that, but I've been chatting to Bandai and those legends over there should hopefully be able to sling a little something our way so we can give you some thoughts and opinions on that, because yeah, it looks interesting. And I love the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, and if they can nail that in a game format, I think it could be fun to play.
Yeah, I was one of the people that was kind of on the fence. It kind of was on the nose to me. I couldn't see how long the playability of that game could be, so it looked a bit repetitive. So
we'll find out. We'll see reviews start to pop in the next couple of days on that, so we'll see what the media as a whole thinks of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. But Miss Hart, that brings us to the end of THG 260. Anything else you want to say or shout out before we shut this studio down for another week?
Yes, Halloween special is coming up, so we are taking any kind of spooky questions, recommendations that we can kind of do for the Halloween special of the podcast. Thank you to everyone that's kind of already given some input. We'll do another round on social media for opportunities for you to kind of put your input in, so check obviously Instagram, Twitter, and our Discord as well. Just, if you've got any input, if there's something you'd like to see us discuss on our Halloween special. And it's pretty important to stay in tune with our social media, especially for our podcasts when we do kind of special podcasts where we talk about different things, because that's when we kind of reach out to you guys to see what you want to hear. So always keep your finger on the pulse when it comes to the social media platforms and getting involved.
That's it. So if you're not following us already, at We Are 8-Bit for all 8-Bit centric stuff, follow Miss Hart at Miss Ali Hart, and follow myself at Brendan 8-Bit. And because we want to do more of that, more episode shaping based off, listener feedback and requests. So let's see what we can make happen with the upcoming Halloween special, which is going to be episode 261. And we've got some exciting things planned for end of year as far as our sort of end of year wrap-ups and Festivus and things like that, where we wanted to try and get as many listeners engaging and participating in those episodes as well to get some good feedback. So yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled to them socials, and obviously jump into our Discord as well. But that brings us to the end of another podcast, Miss Hart. Thanks to each and every one of you for stopping on by, listening, and giving us your time. It means an awful lot. But until next time, 8-Bit Nation, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.